The town of Ravenwood held a particular stillness at night, the kind that made every echo feel heavier, as though the darkness itself were listening. It was a quiet town, wrapped in pine forests and old stone roads, illuminated only by small lamps that flickered outside shops long since closed. On a cold Friday evening, Amelia Hart, a 22-year-old art student known for her serene smile and shy nature, walked down Willow Lane, her favorite route home. She carried a backpack speckled with dried paint and a sketchbook tucked under her arm. In the sketchbook lay her latest charcoal illustration, a portrait of a girl with sorrowful eyes, unfinished and haunting. Amelia liked walking home alone. She said it calmed her, gave her space to think, to imagine new paintings, to replay melodies in her mind. That night, she was humming quietly, her footsteps tapping a soft rhythm against the stones. Her phone buzzed. A message from her mother. "Don't stay out too late, sweetheart." Amelia smiled, typed back a quick reply, and kept walking. But she wasn't alone. A shadow trailed her from a distance, moving when she moved, stopping when she stopped. Had she turned around, she might have noticed a faint shape near the corner of an abandoned bookstore. A person, hooded, steady, patient. Amelia reached the bend near Fletcher Bridge, where the street lamps dimmed and the river roared faintly below. She paused for a moment to zip her jacket against the wind. A soft crunch behind her. She turned. "Hello, is someone there?" Silence. Only the rustling of leaves. Then, another sound, closer this time. A footstep. Amelia's breath caught. She gripped her sketchbook tighter. "Who's there?" she said, her voice trembling despite her attempt to sound firm. A figure stepped forward, only a silhouette at first. She couldn't see a face, only the shadow of a hood and the glint of something metallic, reflecting the dim lamplight. "What do you want?" she whispered. The figure didn't answer. A sudden rush of fear overwhelmed her. She stumbled backward, her heart pounding. And then, darkness swallowed the scene as her sketchbook slipped from her fingers and fluttered to the ground. By morning, the town awakened to an eerie quiet news. Amelia Hart had not come home. Her mother, Margaret, called her repeatedly throughout the night. Each call went to voicemail. By dawn, panic set in. She contacted Amelia's friends, then the campus administration, then finally the police. Detective Ethan Rowe, a seasoned investigator known for his calm demeanor and sharp intuition, took charge. He had solved many cases, but something about the fear in Margaret's voice made him feel an unusual weight. "Please find her," she sobbed as Ethan arrived at their home. "She never disappears. She always texts. She always comes back." Ethan nodded sympathetically. "We'll do everything we can. I need a few details. Where was she last seen?" She said she left the studio at 9. She walks home. Always the same route. Willow Lane. Ethan recognized the route well. Isolated. Bad visibility at night. Many abandoned shops. A place where someone could stalk a victim without being easily noticed. He headed directly there. The morning fog still lingered as Ethan walked down Willow Lane. His partner, Officer Lena Morales, joined him, scanning the pathway with a flashlight despite the daylight. Halfway down the lane, near Fletcher Bridge, Lena spotted something. "Ethan, look, a sketchbook, lying in a patch of dew-covered grass. The cover, a charcoal drawing of a sorrowful-eyed girl, Amelia's signature style." Ethan carefully picked it up. Inside, the last page was smudged, as if it had been grabbed or dropped hastily. "No blood," Lena observed. "No signs of a struggle. Not here, at least," Ethan murmured. But she was definitely here. They continued scanning the area. On the ground near the bridge, they found faint shoe prints, one small set, consistent with Amelia's shoe size, and another larger, heavier set following close behind. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Someone was following her. Lena took photos for evidence. "We'll cast these prints." "Do that," Ethan said. "And track local cameras. If anyone walked this route last night, we'll find them." But he didn't feel relieved. Something about the abandoned bookstore across the street pulled his attention. The windows were boarded, the sign faded. But the dusty ground before it looked disturbed. Fresh footprints, faint, as if someone had stood there a long time. Watching, waiting. By afternoon, news of Amelia's disappearance spread through Ravenwood. Posters were printed, volunteers organized search parties, and college students gathered anxiously. Ethan and Lena set up a temporary investigation base near Willow Lane. "Any camera footage yet?" Ethan asked. Lena shook her head. "Only 2 cameras in the whole lane. One near the studio, she passed that. Another near the bridge, it's broken." "That's convenient," Ethan muttered. Too convenient. He flipped through Amelia's sketchbook again. Portraits. Dozens of them. Some random faces from imagination, some classmates, some strangers drawn from memory. But one stood out, a rough sketch of a hooded figure, shadowy, indistinct. It was dated the night before she vanished. Did she see someone following her before? Ethan wondered aloud. He drove to Amelia's art studio on campus. Her friends were gathered outside, worried and restless. "Detective Rowe, is there any news?" asked Jenna, Amelia's roommate. "Not yet," Ethan replied. "But I need to ask about this sketch." Jenna examined the drawing of the hooded figure and shivered. She mentioned someone standing outside the studio 2 nights ago. She thought it was weird. She said the person didn't move even when she looked directly at them. Just stood there. Did she tell the campus security? She thought she was overreacting. Ethan closed the sketchbook. She wasn't. The search expanded into the woods near Fletcher Bridge. By evening, one of the search volunteers, an elderly man walking his dog, spotted something near the riverbank. He waved frantically for help. Within minutes, officers rushed to the location. Ethan arrived shortly after, his stomach sinking before he even approached the scene. There, near a cluster of pine trees, lay a young woman's body. The clothing matched Amelia's. Her face was pale, peaceful almost, as though she had simply fallen asleep. No visible injuries, no violent marks. Just stillness. Ethan felt a heavy silence fall over the area. Lena placed a hand on his shoulder. "We'll notify her family. No mother deserves this," Ethan said quietly. The medical team examined the body. "No obvious cause of death," the coroner reported. "We'll need an autopsy." Ethan knelt beside Amelia, eyes soft. "I promise," he whispered, "we'll find who did this." The next morning, the forensic report came in. Cause of death: asphyxiation, likely by hand or fabric, but with no graphic bruising. Whoever did it used controlled pressure, careful not to leave clear marks. Time of death: between 9:45 and 10:15 p.m. The killer was precise, cold, experienced. Ethan studied the rest of the report. Something unusual: a faint trace of pine oil on Amelia's jacket. Not from the surrounding woods, this was refined, used in cleaning products for wooden floors. "Maybe a cabin," Lena suggested, "or a workshop." "Possibly," Ethan said. "We check every place that uses pine oil-based cleaning agents." But then, Lena handed him something else. "We found this in her pocket." A folded note. Ethan opened it carefully. The note read, "I warned you not to draw me." The note chilled Ethan. "What does that mean?" Lena asked. "Did she sketch the killer?" Ethan flipped through the sketchbook again until he reached the rough drawing labeled with yesterday's date. She drew the hooded figure. Maybe the killer saw her. Maybe they felt exposed. If they saw her sketching them, they might have confronted her, Lena said. Ethan nodded. "We need to find who this person is." But there were dozens of people in Ravenwood wearing hoodies. A general shape didn't help much. As Ethan continued examining the sketchbook, he noticed a page tucked behind the others, loosely taped, as if she had hidden it. It was a detailed portrait this time, the same hooded figure, but with sharper lines around the jaw, clearer outline of the posture, a faint scar-like shadow near the left cheek. It wasn't perfect, but it was a face trying to emerge from the paper. "Who are you?" Ethan whispered to the drawing. Ethan and Lena spent the next 2 days interviewing anyone who might have seen Amelia that night. A shopkeeper reported seeing a tall hooded figure standing near the abandoned bookstore around 9:30 p.m. A jogger claimed he saw a girl running near the bridge, like she was scared. A group of teens admitted they heard a woman yelling near the lane but didn't investigate, thinking it was just an argument. Piece by piece, the night became less foggy. Still, no suspect stood out. That changed when Ethan visited the abandoned bookstore itself. Inside, dust coated every surface, except for one large patch on the floor, cleaner, as if someone had sat there often. Nearby, he found discarded food wrappers, a water bottle, and a cigarette butt. Someone was using this place, Ethan said. Recently. Maybe living here. Lena collected samples. This could be our suspect's hideout. But there was more, a small scrap of paper stuck under a loose floorboard. Ethan pulled it free. A torn piece of a newspaper article, an article about Amelia Hart winning an art competition. Her photograph was printed beside the headline. A red circle had been drawn around her face. With the discovery in the bookstore, the case shifted from random attack to targeted fixation. Ethan stared at the circled photograph. This wasn't chance, he said. The killer knew her, watched her, Followed her routines. Could be a stalker, Lena said. Maybe someone she didn't even know was watching. Or someone she did know, but never realized their intentions. Ethan broadened the investigation to include anyone who might be obsessed with Amelia. Her professors described her as talented, humble, introverted. Students admired her skills, but one name came up repeatedly. Oliver Grant, a fellow art student, quiet, reclusive, always kept to himself, rumored to have a fixation on Amelia's work, known to sketch her during classes. He stares at her a lot, one student said. Like, intensely. He once asked if she'd collaborate with him, another added. She said no. He didn't take it well. Ethan requested Oliver's address, an apartment near the outskirts of town. Close to Willow Lane. Too close. Ethan and Lena drove to Oliver's apartment building the next morning. The hallway smelled of stale paint and old carpet. Apartment 3B looked ordinary. A faded wooden door, a peeling number plate, a small mat. Ethan knocked. No answer. He knocked again, harder. Still nothing. Landlord? Ethan asked. The landlord, an elderly woman, arrived and unlocked the door reluctantly. He keeps to himself, she said. Barely speaks. Rent's on time, but sometimes I hear him pacing all night. The apartment's interior was dimly lit, curtains drawn. And then, both officers froze. The walls were covered with portraits of Amelia. Different sizes, different styles. Charcoal, pencil, watercolor. Some from afar, others close up. Some incomplete, some too detailed. Hundreds of eyes stared back at Ethan and Lena from the walls. Lena exhaled shakily. This is obsession. But there was one more thing. A hooded jacket hung on a chair. And beside it, a knife, clean, unused looking, but it sent a chill through Ethan nonetheless. Where is Oliver now? Lena whispered. Ethan scanned the room, noticing the window was slightly open from the outside. He ran, Ethan said. He knew we'd come. A town-wide alert was issued immediately. Oliver Grant, person of interest. Possibly armed, possibly dangerous, known to stalk Amelia Hart. Officers spread across Ravenwood, searching parks, abandoned buildings, bus stations. Ethan, meanwhile, analyzed Oliver's sketches. In many drawings, Amelia looked frightened, as if captured during a moment of fear. Others showed her walking home, angles that only someone hiding in the shadows could have seen. He followed her often, Ethan said. For weeks, maybe months. Lena shivered. But why kill her? Ethan stared at the portraits. Because she noticed him, he said. She drew him. She recognized him as a threat. Stalkers become violent when they fear losing control. A call came in over the radio. Officer sighting near the old lumber mill. Hooded male running into the woods. Ethan grabbed his coat. He's cornered. The woods behind the lumber mill were dense and sprawling. Appalling. A place where someone could vanish for days. Ethan and Lena led the pursuit. Dogs barked, officers shouted, branches snapped under hurried footsteps. Ethan spotted movement ahead, someone sprinting between pine trees. Oliver, he shouted. Stop. The figure didn't stop. Ethan chased him deeper into the woods, lungs burning, heart pounding. The figure stumbled at one point, allowing Ethan to close in. Oliver's hood slipped back, revealing messy hair, wild eyes, and a terrified expression, not hostile, but desperate. Oliver, it's over, Ethan yelled. Oliver abruptly turned, hands shaking. I didn't mean to, Oliver cried. I didn't want to hurt her. Ethan slowed his steps, hands raised. You were following her. You stalked her. Tell us what happened. Oliver's voice trembled uncontrollably. Yes, I followed her. I admired her. I loved her art. She didn't know how much she inspired me. But I never touched her. I swear I didn't. Then why did you run? Because I knew you'd blame me. Oliver said, panic rising. Everyone always misunderstands me. Did you leave the note? Ethan pressed. Did you warn her about drawing you? Oliver froze. What note? Ethan felt his pulse spike. You didn't write it. Oliver shook his head violently. No, I didn't even know she drew me. Ethan exchanged a look with Lena. If Oliver didn't write the note, then the real killer wasn't him. Ethan brought Oliver to the station for questioning. A forensic team scoured his apartment. Despite the disturbing drawings, nothing physically linked him to the murder. No fibers, no matching shoe prints, no pine oil residue. Oliver was socially unstable, obsessive, and intrusive, but not violent. Meanwhile, Ethan reviewed the note again. The handwriting was neat, precise. Too controlled. Not Oliver's style. It reminded Ethan of something, someone who wrote with structure and discipline. He dug deeper into Amelia's interactions. Anyone she met recently, any unusual behavior around her. Jenna, her roommate, mentioned an incident a week before. Amelia had visited the police station, not to report a crime, but to deliver student paperwork for an internship related to forensic sketching. She had met one of the officers there. Officer Mark Ellis, a friendly face, charismatic, helpful, a man known for volunteering on night patrol, a man who worked near Willow Lane, a man with military handwriting, a man who cleaned his home floors with pine oil. Ethan requested Officer Mark Ellis's schedule. He claimed he was off duty on the night of the murder. Ethan checked the logs. He wasn't signed out properly. Cameras near the station showed him leaving shortly before Amelia's disappearance, hood up, walking toward Willow Lane. Ethan's blood ran cold. How did we miss this? Lena whispered. Because he's one of us, Ethan said grimly. And he knew how to avoid suspicion. They drove to Mark's house, a neat single-story home with polished wooden floors that smelled faintly of pine oil. Mark wasn't home, but his house held something chilling. In his study, Ethan found a locked drawer. After forcing it open, he discovered a stack of Amelia's printed photos, a page torn from a newspaper, Amelia's article, matching the scrap found in the bookstore, a charcoal sketch of Amelia sitting by a river, and another, Amelia walking alone, unaware she was being watched. Lena closed her eyes. He stalked her, regularly. Ethan clenched his fists. Mark Ellis murdered her, and now he's running. A statewide manhunt was issued for Mark Ellis. Ethan replayed the case in his mind. Mark had met Amelia at the station. He admired her talent, saw her often walking alone, developed an unhealthy fixation, followed her nightly, but Amelia sketched him, recognizing him as the shadow behind her. He panicked. If she reported him, his career would be over. So he confronted her near the bridge. He stopped her from screaming, using controlled pressure, trained techniques leaving minimal marks. He dragged her to the riverbank, placing her gently under the trees before fleeing. And he left the note to silence her drawings forever. Now he was hiding. Ethan knew Mark wouldn't flee the state immediately. He was tactical, strategic. He'd stay close enough to monitor police movements but far enough to avoid detection. Then Ethan noticed something. Every photo Mark kept was taken near water, the river, lakes, ponds. He was drawn to quiet places. Lena, Ethan said suddenly, I know where he is. The abandoned Ravenwood boathouse sat at the edge of the lake, a quiet, secluded place Mark had patrolled often. Ethan, Lena, and a team of officers approached carefully. Inside, the floorboards creaked. Dust floated in dull rays of light. And near the back corner, sitting on an overturned crate, was Mark Ellis. He looked calm, too calm. You figured it out, Mark said, smiling faintly. I knew you would. Ethan stepped forward. Stand up, Mark. Mark didn't move. Amelia was special, you know. Everyone overlooked her. But I saw her. I appreciated her. You followed her, Ethan said sharply. You terrified her. Mark sighed. She shouldn't have drawn me. I told her not to. She didn't listen. That gave you no right to hurt her. Mark's eyes grew cold. You don't understand obsession, Ethan. She noticed me. She acknowledged me. And then she tried to ignore me. I couldn't allow that. Ethan stepped closer. It's over. Stand up. But Mark suddenly bolted toward the back door. Officers yelled. Ethan sprinted after him. Mark reached the dock, but slipped on the wet wood. Ethan tackled him before he could get up. Officers restrained him. It was done. The real killer was caught. Ravenwood mourned Amelia Hart deeply. A memorial was held on campus. Her art pieces were displayed. Friends shared memories. Her mother wept softly, holding Amelia's final sketchbook. Detective Ethan Rowe delivered the news personally. He won't hurt anyone again, Ethan assured her. Your daughter's strength, her drawings, helped us find the truth. Margaret hugged the sketchbook. Thank you for giving her justice. Oliver Grant was cleared of all charges, though he was advised to undergo counseling. He visited Amelia's memorial quietly, leaving a single charcoal pencil beside her photograph. Lena placed the solved case file in the archives. You did it again, she told Ethan. We did it, Ethan corrected with a faint smile. But even as the case closed, Ethan couldn't help flipping through Amelia's last sketch, the sorrowful-eyed girl. She had sensed danger before anyone else. Her art had spoken for her. And now, her silent portrait had helped silence the darkness that had followed her. Months later, Ethan received a package. No return address. Inside was a folder. He opened it carefully. It contained Amelia's final completed drawing, the sorrowful-eyed girl, now finished. In the portrait, the girl seemed to stare directly at Ethan, her expression soft, almost thanking him. A small note was attached. "Thank you for listening to the art when I no longer could." Ethan placed the portrait in his office, a reminder of a life lost too soon, a warning about the dangers unseen, and a testament to the truth that sometimes art speaks louder than words. The end.